Okay, so now what we're going to do, I'm going to put a mix track into Pro Tools. That's going to go through the Fusion back into Pro Tools, and we're going to fusionize this song and see what it will do to it from a mix to a printed, if you like, mini master of an entire track. Hi everyone, welcome to the studio. It's Martin from Meyer Records. I hope you're keeping well, and as ever, making good music in your own recording space. In today's video, I want to dive into one of my favourite pieces of outboard, which I acquired for this recording space, possibly about a year and a half ago. Could be longer actually. We've had a pandemic. Time has kind of, moved on. And honestly, completely delighted with it, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about it now. So the SSL Fusion, this expensive box which everyone seems to talk about, and yes, I think it's worth talking about. This 2-unit analog completely processing package is absolutely amazing. There's about 5 parts to it which I will go through, and honestly it adds exactly what it's supposed to do and what you'd expect. It's expensive, but sometimes you have to spend a little to get what you want, especially if you are in the industry of making music. And I took the plunge, and I, at first, I'll be honest, regretted it. I didn't quite get what the unit was supposed to do. That's being honest. Then I decided to say, you know what, it's that saying, if you don't like a person, it's probably because you don't know them. So get to know them. Not always, of course. And that's what I did. I patched the unit in. I used it in different processes, i.e. over a drum bus, on a vocal bus, on a group of vocals, on guitar chains, and I started to realize how I could incorporate it. So if you get one, you're a little bit confused, maybe this video may help you. But without further ado, let's jump into the front panel of the Fusion quick, and I'll show you what's on the front of it and what it does. And then I will play you a song, one of my own tracks that I've recorded, and put the Fusion over it once it's all patched in, and so you can actually hear it as well, because ultimately these things look really pretty in your rack space, but they are tools, so you need to know how to use them and get the best out of them, especially if you're spending loads of money. So yeah, let's dive into the front panel. So just a quick overview then really of the SSL Fusion. When I first bought this, I was really wrapped into how everyone else was raving about what this thing does to your audio. And then I looked at what obviously SSL was saying it does, and as you can see at the front, there are some pretty interesting knobs to look at, and it's all into different sections. So you have an input trim, which is here, so if you have got a hot input coming in, you can control that, and vice versa. They've got a high pass filter, so you can cut between 30, 40 and 50 from there if you wanted to. And after that you have something which is very interesting, which says the vintage drive, which initially I didn't really quite understand. And yeah, the word vintage can be used pretty simple, but what this essentially does, and what I've found, it kind of adds a subtle compression through basically I believe the audio circuits being, well, the analog audio circuits being driven to give a real softening to the low end in particular. So you can set your drive levels here, you can move the density, and you'll hear in the example what it does, but ultimately once you engage that in, you have this saturation and boost, which really is, I'm presuming, just mimics an SSL console in a sense. After that, we've got the lovely named SSL Violet EQ, which kind of really looks very basic. You've got the different settings here, but you can boost from the low end 30, 50, 70 and 90, and the high end 8, 12, 16 and 20 kilohertz if you want to add a bit of sparkle or air to your recordings. And once they're engaged, you can boost and cut where you want to really. And initially I thought, okay, very primal, but honestly once you add, especially if it's to a particular source like the drums or a vocal or a set of acoustic or overdriven guitars, it definitely does its job of boosting those particular frequencies really nicely and at a real high-end standard. Then we have the high frequency compressor, which kind of does what I feel it says on the tin. You can set the point of where you want to start the compression, and you can also set a threshold as well, so you don't necessarily compress unless the high-end frequencies are really, really high in volume. And once this is engaged, again, it kind of sets a soft compression over the high-end stuff in your mix. Or if it's on an individual bus, for example, you might just want to have a softness of the of the cymbals on your drum kit, so that high-end stuff isn't too crushy in your mix, so you kind of controls that, which I think's excellent. And it did take me a little while to understand what that did, but once you start putting audio through, you start to really understand how that's useful and what it does. And then I hope you can see this, because I have got a light over here. This says stereo image, and the stereo image, yeah, what it says on the tin really, it's an analog version to create some space, so you can tweak whether it's quite narrow or quite more distant. And you can also do the same for the width, which I use the most, which is fantastic. It really creates a stereo image and widens your recordings. And then the last part is, well, before we get to the output trim, would be this little button here, which is basically a custom designed SSL transformer circuit, which in their manual, it pretty much says it adds a subtle low frequency saturation alongside a high frequency phase shift. Now the result is supposed to be very thickening of the low end and adds a little sparkle to the high end. So basically it's a magic button. We take their word for it. I haven't necessarily noticed a massive difference, but maybe you will. It does definitely feel better when this button's engaged. I know that means nothing, but I suppose there's a not a boost, but something happens, and maybe you'll hear it when we do engage it with a track. And then of course you do have an insert button, and you can choose whether or not you want to insert anything in line with the Fusion, and you can also set your insert to be pre-EQ if you prefer. So that's quite handy really, because sometimes people like to compress, for example, before they EQ or after they EQ. So this is where that comes in. So you can add your insert pre the EQ section of the Fusion. So rather cool. And then you've got a bypass button, which is really important to press, because if you decide to chain these bits and pieces together, if you don't press the bypass, audio will just flow and be controlled within your Fusion, so keep that in mind. But anyway, that is the front panel of the SSL Fusion, just really quickly. Obviously, all the info is online anyway, but I thought I'd just quickly give you a quick run through of what is there. Okay, so now what we're going to do, I'm going to put a mix track into Pro Tools. That's going to go through the Fusion, back into Pro Tools, and we're going to fusionize this song and see what it will do to it from a mix to a printed, if you like, mini master of an entire track. So let's do that now. Tracks in. That's my mix track. And then I'll just quickly patch in the Fusion, which is coming in here. That's the inputs. I'm coming out of the Fusion, back into Pro Tools via the interface, and we're good to go. So here we are, about to go into this world I've always known. Would you help me with my bags now? Trapped inside this little cage, will I ever come of age? Oh, I don't think so. Start the car now, I'm ready to go.
just another housewife. Too asleep for you to care. I never dreamed I'd see her there. Still you never made it. This busy street will see the time slip away with sips of wine. Oh, let's not go there. Start the car now, ready to go. I don't wanna be just another line. Live for the day. It's true what they say. I don't wanna be just another housewife. I need more time to find out who I am. Don't you leave. I need more time to find out who I am. And I will show you, I will show you, I will show you, and I will show you, and I will show you, I will show you, I will show you, and I will show you. Just another housewife. Don't you leave. I need more time to find out who I am.
So you get the idea. That's all done. I've got myself a fantastically analogued, processed mix master, and you know, totally buzzing from it really. And from that I can then add any digital stuff I want to. I could bring the track louder, but for me, when it comes to mastering, I like to try and keep the dynamic as much as possible. I don't want things just to be loud all the way through. I want them to have a boost and a bit of a low as well, but that's just my taste. But anyway guys, I hope this video has given you an insight to this unit and the process of a process on how to use it. And yeah, give us a comment, give us a like, give us a subscribe. Whatever happens, keep creative, and hopefully I'll see you on the next video. Cheers, bye.